Hello and welcome back to another video. So I've been someone who's been relatively critical of Apple in the past because I haven't liked their iterations from iPhone to iPhone. I felt like they could be doing better when they haven't, and this year with the iPhone 13 Pro, things have changed a little bit for me. With the iPhone 12 series, it felt like Apple regressed from the previous models a little bit because of the reduced battery capacities in comparison to the 11 series models, and it just felt very bulky if you use the 12 Pro Max. With the iPhone 13 Pro at 6.1 inches, it's a very comfortable phone for me in particular. I think 6.1 inches is the nice sweet spot of not being too small but not being too big, and the boxy design on here looks really good. It isn't my favorite in terms of comfortability when using without a case. I've resorted to using more cases because of the boxy design. It just feels a little bit sharp, but either way it looks stunning, and I think a lot of people are going to like the design just because of that. The Sierra blue color also looks pretty cool. Sometimes it looks more grayish or silver, but in general I like it a lot. And then Apple finally addressed one of my biggest complaints. They reduced the notch. Now it does come down a little bit more, resulting in some content being cut off just slightly, and that does bug me a little bit, but I'm just happy that it's reduced. I do actually notice the difference, even if they don't utilize that space as well as they could. As for the display itself, Apple has done a nice job in recent years of having sharp enough displays with good color accuracy. I think that the natural looking colors look good and they don't really feel too vibrant. Sometimes when I've used phones in the past where they felt too vibrant, it just looks like skin tones and stuff are off, but with the iPhones, they've always had a very good calibrated display. And then with the iPhone 13 Pro, we get 120 Hz, and thank God for that. I am so happy that we finally get high refresh rate on an iPhone. It's very smooth, as you probably would guess. I think that the iPhone doesn't utilize it as well because they've had some limited support for third parties, but I think it will get better over time. Either way, scrolling and stuff feels extremely smooth, animations look great, and most of you guys are probably gonna notice a slight difference, although not as much as what I noticed on Android phones. Finally, about the display, it also gets plenty bright with a peak brightness, I believe, at 1200 nits. Outside, it's no problem reading, but I haven't had that issue with an iPhone in general. When you're watching content, you do notice the nice display on the iPhone 13 Pro, but what you probably notice even more is the speaker quality, and that's something that Apple has also done very well for a long time. That and haptic feedback are things that Apple's been near the top in when you're comparing it to other phones. The speaker quality on here is noticeably loud and it doesn't distort at the highest ranges. It's very good. I think everyone who uses this is going to be very happy that in a smartphone they're getting this great of speaker quality. Another impressive aspect of the iPhone has to be its battery life. Again, we talked about the iPhone 12 Pro series going down in capacity last year, and it's something that I noticed while using those phones. In the beginning, it wasn't as bad, but then as batteries degrade, it got worse, and the iPhone 13 Pro, despite it being very new, and I know it's going to get worse, is an excellent performer. I'm getting iPhone 12 Pro Max battery life in the 13 Pro model, and that's perfect to me because for this size, it's getting amazing battery life. It's really so impressive that this is a reported 3095 milliamp hour battery, but combined with Apple's software, the A15 Bionic, and the LTPO display, you are really getting the most out of that capacity. Speaking of the A15 Bionic, it yes is the fastest SoC in any smartphone. But what really is more impressive is the efficiency of the A15 Bionic. Like I said, it contributes to the battery life of this phone, and it doesn't demand as much power as some of the other SoCs in the major flagship Android phones. The Snapdragon 888, for example, gets very hot in particular models, which results in worse battery life, decreased performance over time, and just it doesn't feel good that your phone's hot. When I'm playing my games and doing every single task I need to do, the A15 Bionic flies through them and keeps the phone relatively cool. And that is really impressive given that the thermal solution in here is nothing special even when you compare to other phones. iPhones have been fast for a while now, so the increased performance really doesn't make a huge difference to me. I'm not someone who's editing my videos on my iPhone, but it is nice to have a reassurance that this is going to stay fast for a very long time. One of the most hyped up upgrades for this year has to come in the form of the camera. We got new sensors on all 3 lenses, which are much bigger than before. And this results in more detail and cleaner images, as well as nicer night mode shots. However, I don't think it is a necessarily huge difference from last year. The iPhones have done such a good job in computational photography that these new lenses make a difference, but not as big of a one because they still are 12 megapixels, even if they are significantly bigger. And that's okay because this is the best all-around camera I've used in a phone. You get the nice, good images as well as the incredible videography. I think cinematic mode is a bit of a gimmick at the moment. I haven't really used it much because it's 1080p 30 FPS and it just doesn't seem to do as good of a job, but regular video taking with Dolby Vision HDR looks excellent, and I think most people are going to be more than satisfied with the entire camera experience on here. It's so reliable, so consistent, and Apple, in my opinion, has currently taken the crown of the most well-rounded smartphone camera. Not to mention we don't have ProRes right now, yet that could make a difference in the future. I think it's really interesting. Worth noting is that on the 128GB model, which is the base model, you can't use ProRes. So if that's something you're looking for, you have to go higher up and pay a little extra. In the past, like I said, I've been very critical of Apple because I felt that they were holding back on upgrading their iPhone. And the 13 Pro is not necessarily the biggest jump in upgrade that we've ever seen. Yet I feel so positive about this phone because the upgrades that we got were so meaningful and made a difference in my daily usage. And in my opinion, it made the iPhone 13 Pro one of the best all-around phones there is to get right now. Gone are the days that Apple's ecosystem exclusive features were the main reason that I wanted to carry an iPhone around with me, even if it wasn't my main device. Now the excellent software support and those ecosystem features are paired with a device that truly is an excellent phone for you to buy even if it didn't have those ecosystem features. I'm going to be using the 13 Pro for a while. It's just been very enjoyable, and let me know what you think in the comment section below. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and peace.